Good afternoon, Scott Redler T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So it is Thursday and it has been a long week. A lot going on, lots of earnings, lots of movement, lots of big gaps that we weren't sure which way they would wind up closing on the day. And seems like every day we've had these big down opens and we've pretty much engulfed them and closed strong, but again, not on highs, not with power, not with strength. So if you listen to the song a little bit, it gives you a little bit of, I guess, the theme in the back of my head, like superstitious. I feel like we've seen so many moves that have been misdirections and with air pockets and spurts that we're all on our toes and we're very superstitious that things are going to work and things are going to actually hold. And with that being said, let's just look at the charts, because if you look at the charts at the end of the day, you look at the SPX here, and you have a bit of a breakout. A bit, I guess, is the key word, right? You have all these lower highs, and then finally you broke above it, above the 8-day, above the 21-day, above this ascending channel, and you would have loved to have had a little bit more power, but again, what we want and what we get in this market are two different things. So with that being said, got pretty close to the old highs here. So you're going to see the headlines of new highs in the NASDAQ, historic highs here, there, and you and I both know that it hasn't been that easy. You look at the spiders, which I've been long for the past few days. Finally, it had a little bit of a stretch. But again, look how it closed. It closed near the lows, so it's keeping everyone guessing, a little bit superstitious of whether we should be holding it here. The best move actually happened right here. Right before I was leaving for the gym, it was like 11:45, and that's why you always want to have a plan. Right here is at 211. Look at this nice clean move. Okay, I was long it, went through 211. I just knew the level. I bought a lot more spiders, and you had a quick move to whatever that was, 2140. Then you had another move, and then since then, it was a little, just random. So this was your this is your holding it all day long, or this was your gap down actually. Filled the gap, came back in. This was one spot, and then you had another. So I pretty much held it, and we didn't close well at all. I don't know if it's trying to get people out, get people short, or what have you, but I'm still in the spiders, and I'm going to try and stick with it, even though I'm a little, superstitious. So, moving on, a lot of other sectors had some decent breakouts. I also bought the MDY. Didn't hold it overnight, but this also looks pretty good, right? Nice level going sideways, going across. Seems as if it wants to continue, it can. It's above all the moving averages, just not a lot of power. Let's see what the IWMs did. Still looking good, above the 8 and 21 day, not a lot of power, but trending fine. The Qs poked its head out above the range. I guess you could say all we're really looking for is a clean breakout, kind of like what we had here, which wound up going for like 2 weeks, which was great trading. So, is this the start? It could be. We'll see what happens, as it continues. The banks, somewhat in play today, not great. Sorry, XLF. Hanging around, starting to get above this little range here. So I think if it were to take out this area on the XLF, perhaps some people would think this wedge or right shoulder would be negated to the upside, but that remains to be seen. And then I think there was some decent action in the XLE. Oil is looking a little bit better, and I'll tell you, this is an interesting spot. XLE obviously was a disaster sector, disaster with a capital D, but if you got out here, that was a good spot. If you got out here, a good spot. You could even got out when it went below the 200-day. And now you look at this pattern down here, okay, you look at this lower level, and it's coming into a spot where if people are short this sector, they're probably like, what do I do here? We're brushing against the 200-day. You have a big gap here. It's been digesting nice moves. This was move number 1. Remember when it broke above this spot and then held sideways and then broke again above it and then held sideways, and now it's flagging again. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe this could help the market continue to push or to at least fill that gap. And once you reclaim the 200-day, people start looking at it a little different. Some institutions that have covenants could actually start buying it. So if you sold it when it broke it here at 90, hopefully you didn't wait. You got involved in this nice little red dog reversal. People are like, what's a red dog reversal, red dog? And I'm like, well, here you go. Here's when you had to move from 80 down to this, traded below this pivot low, traded below that pivot low, got people out, got people short, came back above it. You could have been a buyer at this point, or at this point, that was what, 72.88, and it never violated. It had a move, came back, didn't violate it. Another move came back, didn't violate it, and now it's up here. But everyone trades these patterns differently, and I'm sort of thinking that not a lot of people did it actually that way, because unless you're just a swing trader and you don't trade for a living and you use that strategy, here's a closer look at it right here. If you use it, to say I don't have time to trade all day long and bang keys, I'm just going to do it versus the low. A lot of people have thrown this sector out the window, and now you had a nice swing trade, and look at this level going sideways. So we'll see how the market deals with this moving forward. USO also is at that kind of level too, where obviously downtrend, disaster last year. I don't think I've tried to buy it once during this process. Broke all the moving averages, broke the 200-day, broke support, broke another support, and then now it's kind of at a resistance where some people are trying to say it's a double top. But again, if it wants to continue, the 200-day here is a lot higher. You have this moving averages up here, you have the 200-day up there. So if you just want to short this thing, just be a little careful, because it is acting better. It is holding where it have to. What I say this morning, it has to hold between 1890 and 1910. It went as low as not even down that far. Where did the USOs go as low as today? 1947. And now you have another flag here. So if it were to get through this, that'll probably help also. So after hours, you had Amazon, you had Google. Not sure exactly where they are now, but Google had a pretty big move heading into it. So I really didn't play this one. Here was the low, big move into it. I think it was up a little bit after hours. Not sure where it is this second. Amazon, which I was paying a lot more attention to, which was near highs, which I thought had a really nice setup. But when I heard that they only beat by a penny and that they met revenues, I got a little wishy-washy about it. I traded it after hours. It was a decent trade. It's good to map out support, because it did get as low as here, which was like that 375 after breaking above this. Not sure it is where it is now, but let me take a look at my cell phone. It is 4:45 here on a Thursday, where we're feeling superstitious. Get that off for now. And want to see where Amazon's trading. Amazon, let's see. Is it above or below 400? What do you think? It's 4:45. Where is it? It is 405.89. That's good. That means I just got hedged, because I took the calls that cost me $15 from 390. So I'm just happy I traded it. I made money. Now I'm just happy to have not had a zero, because $16 on multiple calls. I didn't want to take it into earnings, because I don't like to take stock into earnings. I didn't want to break my rules. So at this point on the VTF, if you see me short Amazon, I am not short the stock. I am long the calls. I bought the 490s, and I said I will put an offer out at 405 and 409, so this way I could break even on the calls. And I didn't think the report was worthy of sustaining a higher move. I thought maybe there would be a positive earnings and a split and go nuts like Netflix. Didn't happen, so I'm just thankful that my options aren't going to be a zero. So, that's why you'll see that on the VTF. Apple was awesome for me today. Thank goodness for Apple. Doesn't look like much yet, but this was great. I've owned this for 3 days now. First swing trade I put on back was right here, when it took back this 50-day moving average, held the pain here, bought more, increased it when it went above this, and then you had a nice trade. Not sure exactly what it'll do tomorrow, because tomorrow option expiration, I didn't even think it would get this high. I thought it would chill somewhere between 128, 129, because that's where it's done most of its work, thinking that the option guys will have its time, but maybe people are getting in there for earnings, so they have to move up their volatility. But overall, here is your historic high at this point. So I'll have to figure out on Monday whether or not I want to be long the stock or do some kind of option play. I might be long the stock. We'll see. As far as Facebook, this morning I came in and I was long the calls, and I saw it go down $2 and then, or $1.50, and I said, you know what? They beat by 2 cents. It's at historic highs. It's not enough. I don't care what they try and do. I'm not going to be sucked in. I'll trade it a little bit. I'm not going to buy it. Then once Facebook went positive and up $1 on the VTF, you saw me get out of my $84 calls. I did lose money, but it wasn't a zero. When you have a little bit of time, when just like there's a landmine, okay, you step on the landmine. The whole crowd steps on the landmine. Some people get out quick. Get out quick because they know they're on a landmine, and maybe it blows up, maybe it doesn't. But why stick around? Then all of a sudden it blows up. You're nearby. You maybe lose a few fingers. But if you sit there and like, oh, maybe this is good, maybe this is bad. Let me figure it out. And all of a sudden it blows up and you lose everything, and then you don't just lose fingers. So for me, I didn't like the report. I didn't think it was enough. I felt just thankful that it went from down $1.50 to up 50 cents or 60 cents. So I was like, you know what? My options expire tomorrow. I'm going to get out while there's a bid there at around $1.20 or whatever, because I bought them at like $1.80 versus a zero, and right now they're a zero. So whenever you think something's going to happen, it doesn't happen, and you get a chance to salvage your trade, salvage a damn trade. Don't sit there and hope. Hope doesn't make you money. Hope doesn't save you money. Hope doesn't do anything for you except, I don't know, it's something good to have for when things aren't in your control, whether you have disease or something bad happens. But then go to a doctor instead of hoping it gets better. Fix it. But anyway, that's just, jibber jabber, which is what I'm doing right now. So, we had a decent breakout today. It wasn't on huge volume. There wasn't a lot of power, but that's what 2015's been. It has been powerful. There has been tremendous moves. There's just been action where you've had to have your prep in front of you, your levels in front of you, so when things happen, you could have grabbed it. And there were guys that were long the indices, saw that 211 get taken out, and you had a nice trade. Was there follow-through? No. Was there power? No. But was there, a quarter or a third of a basis point or 60, 70 cents in the spiders extra on top of what you had if you knew the level? Yes. And that's the way people are getting ahead. And if you have a thesis, an idea, and for some reason it's not what you think it's going to be, salvage a trade. Don't stick around. You could always come back to it. You could always revisit it. What else went on today that people were watching? Oh, Netflix. Netflix gave you a small little bottom tail, a little bit of a red dog reversal. You had your earnings gap right here. Did a little bit of of a red dog reversal around this 556. Not a lot of power, but something to put on the radar tomorrow if it wants to continue. It's had a big move, so base on bases are hard, but you could be long versus this, and then at some point if it takes that out, you have a good entry here, entry 1, maybe entry 2. CYBR has been unbelievable, another nice move right in your highs before earnings. FEYE, not as powerful, but hanging in there, okay, digesting this move on top of a move from last quarter's earnings, and here was your spot to get back involved. Here's where you stay involved. Maybe it moves beforehand or maybe it doesn't, but it looks good. I do think it takes this out at some point. What else? PANW tried, but didn't really have much power. Still hanging around. Clean breakout, some commitment to it. GPRO, broken name, gives you a little bit of action, but nothing great there. Tesla's hanging in there. Tesla, I talked about a negative to positive trade. That's what it did at first, and then digesting. And why wouldn't it digest? Here's your 2-day move. Digestion, a little bit more digestion, and then perhaps you get another trade above this. So there's things going on, things to do, ways to make money, ways to be safe, ways to salvage trades, ways to keep your frustration down. One of those ways is going to the gym at lunchtime, having your positions, having some stops, and not sitting in front of the computer all day long. The summer is coming. What you don't want to do is sit in front of the computer all day long and knock your keyboard against your head, because that's what happens. Because if you think there's no volume now, wait till the summertime when a third of Wall Street's on the beach or at the Hamptons or wherever it is they are. And you're going to have to be able to have some positions, like them, know where to put stops, and let them work for you, and have pivot points to add for cash flow if that's what's going on, versus sitting there all day. I've talked to so many people like, Red Dog, I can't believe how much better my life is. I trade until about 11:30. I put some stops in, not to save money, but stops for where the trade changes, probably a little bit more room with a little less size, and I let it work out. Same way I did with the spiders today. I had spiders overnight. With the last 2 days, I bought more at 211. I sold some at 211.40, 211.60, and then I said I'm going to hold what I have versus 210.80 and just let it work out versus watching. Is it going to go? Is it not going to go? Is it going to go? Is it not? No. Let it work out. Make some cash flow. Let it work. So tomorrow's Friday. We'll see what the market brings us. I do think the whole Grexit scenario is off the table, at least for tomorrow and maybe into the end of April. Some headlines talked about, making some payments until May. As far as Asia, we'll see what happens overnight. As far as the earnings, I think Microsoft was real strong. You just saw Amazon back up. Google's flying. So hopefully this breakout is sustainable, and then we'll figure out where to turn next. Tomorrow I'm in Short Hills. I'll do my note. Someone will be covering the morning call. I hope you had a great week. There has been a lot of good trading. It's earnings season. Just be prepared and make progress. Prepared, progress. Progress, prepared. And then you don't have to be superstitious. See you tomorrow.